Yo! Video games.
What up, dudes? Matt here from YoVideogames, and I'm back again with another Summer Games Fest Playdays hands-on impression. And this time I'm going to talk about the other game of the show. Since I said there were two, this one's very, very different from the first one, which was Sword of the Sea, which was fantastic. Please go check out that video. But also, the other game is Shinobi, The Art of Vengeance by Sega and developed by Lizard Cube. And yeah, going into this game, we knew, hey, this looks really nice. You know, a 2D hand-drawn aesthetic. Lizard Cube is very well known for. They helped make Streets of Rage 4 with Guard Crush, and they've always had a really good-looking style to their game, even before Streets of Rage 4. And yeah, going into this, I was like, all right, I know this is going to be a very nice-looking game. You know, we're gonna get some good stuff here. But it's even better in motion when you're playing it, like sitting down in front of a real TV screen and watching just the intro play out, and I was like, wow, this actually looks even better than the trailers do. I don't even know how that's even possible, but it was. But anyways, yeah, so first things first, visually striking. And then second thing is to sort of like get right into it. So how does Shinobi compare to Ninja Gaiden Ragebound? Because that's going to be the obvious point of comparison. And they're actually kind of going for different things, even though they are both 2D hack and slash action platformers. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound is trying to basically be a sprite-based Ninja Gaiden 4, something on Super Nintendo or maybe even a PlayStation Saturn. Like that's trying to be a quality of life, like beautiful sprite animation update to like a Ninja Gaiden 4. Shinobi, The Art of Vengeance is a reinvention entirely of the classic Shinobi gameplay that started in the arcades and was super popular on the Genesis. And what I mean by that reinvention is like how you progress, how the game functions is very somewhat similar but very fundamentally different. And why is it fundamentally different? And that all involves, my friends, the combat. Because the first time you get into combat in this game, you will realize with the visuals and the bumping soundtrack, like the really like amazing, it's going to give you Streets of Rage 4 vibes, but like in a much more Shinobi appropriate style soundtrack. When you combine that with the combo heavy fighting game like combat system that Art of Vengeance is doing, you would just sit there and be like, oh, within minutes you realize this game fucks. This game fucks hard. It not only looks good, but man, like the abilities that you get, even right off the bat, which have all kinds of launchers and heavies and mix-ups, and then as you go through the game and you unlock stuff, and there's like a store mechanic which lets you add moves to ends of combos. Like one of the first upgrades you get is it lets you add a light attack to the end of like a heavy ender. So you're gonna like start going into OTGs, and you're gonna start doing, you know, extensions on stuff, and then it has all kinds of other things too, where it has like a quick kill mechanic where as an enemy gets down to the 10% of its health, it'll start glowing and there'll be a little symbol above its head, and you can hold down the L1 button. The game will like freeze, go into like slow motion or time freeze, and then Shinobi will zip to wherever that guy is and just murder it, cut him in half, and you can chain that together so you can beat up a bunch of enemies at once, and then like and they all be glowing red like in Doom, and then like you hold a button down and he'll do like this zip across the screen, killing all of them instantly. It is just, it's insane, it's wild, and it feels great. Like that's the other thing, is it feels really, really good. The old Shinobi games are fantastic, but they do have a sort of stiffness to them that new Shinobi Art of Vengeance doesn't have, where it's not even really trying to control too much like the old one. The old Shinobi is sort of walk forward, chop, run and slide, and do a lot of dive kicks. Like in the old Shinobi, you could dive kick continuously off an enemy as a sort of way to cheese it until it blows up. This one, dive kick is part of a combo rather than just sort of like bouncing around off of enemies like weirdly. So you of course you still get the double jump, you get the air dash, you get all kinds of crazy stuff in this game to like sort of keep your momentum going constantly. Like, and again, I can't stress enough how insane the animation is. Like just like hopping over boxes or climbing up ledges, and it's just like, wow, someone put a lot of thought into this. And of course you get like super moves that you can fill up and earn throughout the game. And again, it's like classic Shinobi. If anything, this game probably aesthetically takes from Shinobi 3 the most. It starts out in Joe Hayabusa's village or whatever, and then you're gonna fight basically ninjas and a couple smattering of other things. And then as you go through, you'll see like military commandos, guys with guns and stuff like that. We got to try 2 levels in our demo time at Summer Games Fest. One was the opening level, and then we had to skip a level, which was a chase level, which you've seen it in the trailer. We can kind of like guess, man, it like definitely feels like it's following along like Shinobi 3. And then the next level, we were at a lantern festival, which we got a sort of mixture between more ninja-like enemies and military commando-like enemies, and just the insanity. The presentation doesn't even stop. Like when you fight a boss, it cuts in this like super like cinematic looking comic art piece of like Shinobi facing off of whatever boss it is, even if it's like a big tank. And yeah, like there's so much going on here, and it just feels really, really good to play like at all times. Like the game feel, which I think is the most important thing you want in a game, especially if you're going to have a combat heavy game, is just done so right here. And there's a lot of even when parts of the background or the level are repeated, it still kind of looks really good just because of the hand-drawn nature of it. If you played Streets of Rage 4, you kind of understand what I'm trying to get at here, where like even if it is like, okay, well, you're walking across the same wooden planks, it's like these are very meticulously hand-drawn wooden planks that even when they are technically repeating, it still looks really, really good. And then you're going to see a lot of unique stuff too. There's a lot of, especially in the first level, as you go through the village of Joe's village, and you see a lot of just unique elements in the background, a lot of like unique hand-drawn statues and stuff like that. And I know this is probably like fluff or whatever, but like, because you're not going to pay attention too much to that while you're playing the game. But just trust me when I say like it's got a very different style. It's not trying, in no way is it trying to look, oh, what is this, like a 16-bit or a 32-bit game? And it's like, no, it's trying to be a very modern hand-drawn aesthetic look. And it really avoids that sort of Flash game look or mentality where it looks like things are sort of like marionetted, like vector images that are like the limb sort of. That's Shadow Labyrinth. That's the Pac-Man game. This looks really smooth. Tons of in-betweens. Everything looks really, really crisp and clean on it. And the nice thing is, like, even enemies with projectiles, like, you can get around them, you can deflect them, stuff like that. So, which Ninja Gaiden also had that too. So I guess there is sort of like a little bit of a crossover there in a sense. But like, I never got the sense that I'm being cheaped out by enemies with projectiles. Like it always felt like, with the generous rolling mechanics and just like the quickness of which Joe moves in this game, just so super good, super satisfying. This game, and again, I can't say enough about like the soundtrack. Again, going into that heavy techno bass, just really stand out maximalist music style in the game in both the first level and the Lantern Festival, and it just sounded great, and it just played really well, and yeah, and I was trying to rush through my time because I wanted to experience as much as I could. I didn't want to experience too much of the cutscenes. They are there. I did kind of skip them just because I wanted to get as much hands-on time with the game as I could to report back to you guys. And it's coming out soon. It's coming out in August, so I'll just watch the cutscenes for the first time, with you guys live, on my stream. So, I just wanted to play the game and see how it felt because it looks so good. So yeah, as the first game in Sega's sort of IP revival initiative, it's off to a very, very, very good start. This feels fantastic. This looks really good. I love the fact that it's doing its own thing with Lizard Cube doing a very hand-drawn style. It looks like the kind of game that someone who was obsessed with ninjas and magic and all kinds of 80s action grew up and decided, yes, one day I will transform all of my doodles in my sketchbooks into becoming a professional artist, and I'm going to make the sickest fucking shit ever for Shinobi Art of Vengeance for Sega, which gotta be a dream come true for some of these people on the dev team, because this just oozes passion, project labor of love, just oozes it. And this is definitely my action, high octane, Twitch spaz reaction timing game of the show, where Sword of the Sea was like a very calm, relaxing vibe, mood game, like cozy, if you will. This is like the sort of like, blood pumping, oh my God, this is the sickest shit ever. I can't wait to just see more of this. And yeah, it also looks like in this game, you will possibly, okay, that is actually another thing I should mention before I wrap this up. This game is different from other Shinobis because it is actually going to let you replay stages, and you will acquire moves and abilities to use in early stages that you can't access yet. So there's like these green jade walls in like the first level, and you can't get through them because you need to get this 1-inch punch type of a special move where you just stand still and hold charge, and Shinobi does like this big old 1-inch punch thing right in front of him, and it knocks any enemy, it knocks all kinds of enemies away, even armored ones. But you need that to break these jade walls in front of you. So you actually will get moves and abilities later in the game, and there's a world map now, and you can go back to previous levels, and you can find things and possibly upgrade other abilities and find stuff. So it's not quite Metroidvania because it's still level based. Think of it more something to like Shantae Half Genie Hero, or maybe even closer to something like Pirate's Curse, but not quite. So it's like something like that where it's not an interconnected map, but you're going to see things that you can't access, and then you're going to get an ability, and you can actually go back between levels and choose them, which is going to add a ton of replay value to this game. And it's definitely a welcome addition and upgrade, which is unlike the previous Shinobis, which were it was just an arcadey style, like level 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. There's no world map, you just kind of you just go. So yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see how the other stages play out, like the chase stages or riding around. I'm sure there's going to be riding on a jet ski surfboard like in Shinobi 3. I'm sure that's going to show up at some point, because Shinobi was always just, what does every 12-year-old boy really fucking love in the 90s? And that was just Shinobi 3 distilled into one cartridge. So yeah, this game is looking sick, and I can't fucking wait to play more of it. The other game of the show for me, if you've been sleeping on this, don't sleep on this. Is which one's better between the two? Don't even think about that. Both this and Ninja Gaiden are both awesome. They're going for different things. They're going for different design, and they're both absolutely worth your time. But yeah, Shinobi Art of Vengeance game fucks, and I hope everyone else jumps in on this because this is fantastic. Let me know what you guys think, and I will see you on the channel later, dudes.